Hi there, I'm Auntie Sarah from CoffeeCraft, and today I wanted to bring a little bit of an informal video to talk about the holiday season, which is a major time for a lot of crafters. And I mostly just wanted to talk about how I used to do crafting, how I used to do gifting, and what have I learned over time, and what do I suggest that you keep in mind this season as we move into the holiday season. So the team at CoffeeCraft, Auntie Christine and I, have been working on some tips that we want to provide for the holiday season to make sure that you're getting to enjoy, all of the memories that you usually get to make during the holidays. And you don't miss out on stuff because you're trying to be, too perfect. So I wanted to give you a hint as to how I organize, what gifts I give to what people, and try to keep everything in the scope of my capabilities. And I'll also give some ideas on, let's say you don't have enough time to craft, or you don't have that many great ideas on how to craft. How do you come up with a good gift for whoever you want to give to you this season? So with that, I hope you grab yourself a hot cup of motivation, and we'll just get into it. So, to get started, I like to list out the names of anybody who I want to maybe get something for this year or make something for. In this case, try to keep my holiday gift giving a little bit secreter. I'm going to use example names, so I won't. Any of you listening, you won't know who's who. Probably, maybe, I don't know. Auntie Sarah's gift plan. So, like I said, I generally start by listing the names of people, and I leave a little space near each name so that I can brainstorm some ideas for what I could either make or find that would be in scope of something that they would enjoy for the season. So we'll start with friend 1, friend 2, friend family. And let's do friend family number 2. And I usually do something for my family as well. So we'd have, maybe your dad, your mom, sibling, your in-law, maybe your brother-in-law, sister-in-law, something like that. So we have a general list. If you're trying to stay considerate of everybody this season, I suggest you make a short list of who's the highest priority, that you make sure you find something that's really personal to them. That way, you can give yourself some grace and patience as you kind of adjust how you think about things, and, you don't feel so overwhelmed. Let's say we've got one friend who is also into crafting, who would thoroughly enjoy something that you've handmade and understand how much time and effort that takes to make it. I'd say that person is probably a high priority for making something small for them. So maybe you make a crochet or knitted headband or scarf or hat. Or another great gift for crafters actually would be a craft kit. You can find a lot of those on Etsy where you get everything you could need in a bag ready to give to somebody. Friend number 2. Let's say this friend isn't necessarily a crafter. Maybe they're a guy friend and you don't really know, they're not something that you could give like a candle and they get a whole lot of fulfillment out of, I would suggest that you think about what hobbies does that person have that you either relate to or that you just kind of know about, right? So maybe he's a car guy, or maybe he likes to play golf, or maybe he's a hunter or fisher, or maybe he just likes to watch sports, right? So if you think about what their hobbies are, you can kind of get a good idea about the topic of a gift that would be good for that person. Usually, my guy friends seem to enjoy funny gifts as well, so they don't need to be like, super thoughtful and heartfelt. So it's really just taking the time to sit there and think about what are the interests of your friends and family, right? And while that sounds like, something that maybe you should be doing all the time, sometimes it's easy to forget about that step. Let's say your friend's a car guy, and maybe he's got a sports car, right? Last year, I made a really fun gift. So I found a Hot Wheels version of my friend's car, his sports car, and I went to the dollar store and I got those little, pipe cleaner Christmas trees. And I took some twine and I just tied it to the top of the car as if it was the sports car coming home with a little Christmas tree. And I even took some nail polish and I painted like the little red lines where his car had been detailed to have a little red on it. It's not just a black sports car, it's black with a little bit of red. Like, attention to detail like that, I think, is where it really makes that gift unique and fun, right? So maybe you get a model car for a friend. Or let's say you have another friend who they're really into video games, actually. I have quite a few friends who are into video games, and personally, I also enjoy video games. So if you know what kind of games they like, you could always get them something that relates to that. For a couple friends, I've made some kind of artwork where I've drawn us as the characters that we play in the game. And that was super fun to make, and it really didn't cost anything. It just was some practice of drawing some characters, right? Let's say you want to make a gift for a family of friends. Like, let's say you've got a friend who got married and had a couple kids. Maybe you want to give them something that will feel unique, but you don't want to just give it to one person in that family, but you also have a long list of other people you want to give things to. I think it's totally fair and a kind of a cute idea to give the family a gift, right? Whether that's, you give them a kit to make Christmas cookies together, or you make something that's matching for the whole family to wear for a family photo. Or maybe you make something that shows like a little family picture of that year, right? Even make like a Christmas ornament that has all their names on it. That kind of thing is so thoughtful, and it keeps the whole family in mind, right? It doesn't just, make the mom happy or whatever, but, the whole family can get involved. And I think that kind of thing is super fun too. Any of those ideas I think would be very fun to do, but also, to me, it's fun to give a gift to my friends and my family, but I also enjoy to see their kids' reaction to it, because I just remember how much I loved Christmas as a kid, and the idea of someone else thinking about what I might like, I don't know, it was fun, right? And that's the whole point. I want to spread fun. Let's say we've got another family of friends, but this time, maybe they don't have a bunch of kids, maybe like they have dogs or cats, or maybe they're just a couple, right? So I like the idea of still doing some kind of matching apparel. That's really fun. Like, let's say you made some like bow ties and hair bows. You could make a bow tie for the dogs to wear for a family photo. That's super cute, right? Or if they've got a dog and a cat, maybe you make a little embroidery that shows like them standing next to each other, and then their dog and their cat in the same kind of embroidery. It's so sweet. So you can do many of these ideas for friends who have kids and friends who don't. And it still would be kind of a cute family gift, because a lot of us think of our pets as our family. So that's always something that I love to keep in mind as well. So let's think of some ideas that would be good for dads. Lots of dads have many different hobbies, similar to the friends we talked about earlier who maybe are not super into crafts. But then some fathers are really into crafts too. So again, I think it's just thinking about what are the hobbies of the people in your life and try to make something or give them something that would help them continue to do that hobby. So for example, my dad really likes to fish, and he's got a Jeep that he's been taking off-roading. So thinking about those two things, I could come up with a few different ideas where, maybe I make a piece of art that, has like the Jeep front grill. And maybe if I knew where he went off-roading, I could get like a Google map of the trail he took and make some kind of artwork of the trail and put like the date that he took the Jeep on it, right? Like that's thoughtful and maybe something that he wouldn't think to do, but gives his like space that he lives in a little bit more personalization, right? Or if you've got family or friends into fishing or hunting, you could think about what would a fisher or a hunter like as a tool. Gifts don't have to just be artistic or creative. They could be useful as well. You could give a fisherman some kind of really nice cutting board that like is personalized with their name on it, and could be like you could have it like this wide, have little measurements on the side so they can like show a picture of their fish and show like how big the fish is. You could even lie on the measurement. You can have it be a foot and say 2 feet at the end of it. That's funny, right? So you can think about if the person in your life would like a funny gift like that, or if they'd like something that's more useful, because you can find many beautiful things, even on Etsy, or if you go to like Bass Pro Shop or somewhere simple like that. You can find really nice hunting knives. You could find some like new clothes and stuff they could wear out while they're working on that stuff. New boots, things like that, like a new hat to wear. It's really nice and something that they'll use. So moms, everybody's mom is the most wonderful person on this planet, right? You have great memories of the times that they really put you first. And sometimes in seasons like this, it's really nice to give back and, tell them how much that really matters to you. So you could do some kind of a photo memory where you give them like, you search through all your old photos and you find like, when you were a toddler or something and your mom's holding you, and then you find a more recent photo and you put them together as a cute little collage and just say like, Mom and me, or, whatever would be more personal for your mother, whatever she'd like. That'd be really fun. Or the other year I gave my mother an embroidery of sayings she used to say to me all the time, like, look with your eyes, or, it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. Things that my mom said to me on repeat for a long time. And it was really funny because, they're kind of the okay mom kind of comments, but, they are things that I think about still. Also, things that my mom enjoys are handmade gifts as well. I'm sure she'd love a new kitchen set of like pot holders or oven mitts. Those would be really appreciated. She tends to make scarves and hats as well. I'm sure it'd be really nice if I were to make her a set that matched as well. So personally, I have a little easier time shopping for her because, in a lot of ways I think about what do I want. And if I really, really like the gift, I know that she will probably also really like the gift. So that's kind of the other secret that I have, is that I tend to give people things that I also really want. And again, I just want to remind you that this is just brainstorming. We're not going to make everything on this list for every person for Christmas, okay? Now, just thinking about these kind of gifts are great to do. I like to do it once a year, and then I keep this list so that as birthdays come up, I'm like, oh yeah, that'd be a really fun gift for that person. Which, for the family friends or friends with families, the list, doesn't quite work for birthdays all the time, but sometimes does. Siblings. They're the only people in this world who are raised by the same people that you were. That generally comes with some inside jokes, or maybe, you just have a lot of good memories with that person, and you could do some kind of a memory gift similar to what I mentioned for like a mother. You could do a collage together, or you could think about what their current hobbies are now. That's always extremely thoughtful to realize, how they've grown as a person over time, rather than always thinking about how they were, 10, 15 years ago. The in-laws. Personally, I generally just shop for my mother-in-law, but I'm sure if you were shopping for both a mother and father-in-law, you could think about them the same way you'd think about your own parents, or you can think about them in the scope of how you think about some of your family friends. Either is not wrong. It's really just about what your relationship is with that person, and you shouldn't be forcing any kind of expectations that don't exist, right? That doesn't feel very genuine. So my mother-in-law likes a lot of the same hobbies I actually like too. She's very crafty. She loves to bake and cook. And, she also just really likes beautiful things and things that smell really nice. So a great gift for her would be like a handmade candle, or maybe a kit to make a certain dessert, or maybe specialized oven mitts or other kitchen utensils. Those would all be great gifts for a mother-in-law. But again, you just want to make sure that whatever you're getting is personal to whoever it is. So if your mother-in-law is not into that kind of stuff, then you should think about what hobbies she is into, and try to make something that's related to it. Now the brother-in-law, sister-in-law, all right? You didn't grow up with these people, but maybe you're pretty close with them. Or maybe you're going to leave your, significant other up to figuring out a gift for their brother and sister. Whatever works for you is totally fine. You shouldn't feel forced to make something for someone that you don't feel inspired to. But something I like to do for my in-laws is maybe make something that's small. It doesn't take me that much time, because I don't want them to feel guilty about maybe not getting me something if they didn't have time to. It's not a big deal. I just want to let them know that I was thinking about them, right? So some good ideas for the guys that I've made in the past are DIY bathroom bags, I think is the best way to say it. They're just like a canvas bag that's probably this big, and you fit a toothbrush, toothpaste, stuff that you would travel with. That's really fun. Sewing a bag is actually one of my favorite beginner. That's how I learned to sew pretty well, actually, was by making bag after bag. And if you get it in embroidery, you can always personalize that bag too. So that's a great idea. Or maybe making some hats and scarves. Those are always fun. But also, if what hobbies they're into, let's say you've got like a really, good cook or something as a sister-in-law or brother-in-law, you could give them like a personalized apron, or a cutting board that you've done some wood burning on, or, a really, really nice knife set. Those are all great gift ideas. So, this is what I would call the brainstorming step, right? We've thought about a couple ideas for each person, and maybe not everything is make, some of it is buy, or maybe all of it's buy. It's not a big deal, right? As long as it's personal, then I'm okay with whichever way it goes. not all of us have a lot of time around the holidays, and I don't want anybody to feel, less than because they didn't have time to create everything this year. That's not the point. If you are thinking about someone and you decide to buy them something, that is a wonderful thing. So, what I would do next, get out a little highlighter here. I would now go through the list, think about what things are things that I have time to make. What are things that I can make maybe in bulk? Are there a couple of these on the list that are repeated? If that's true, like if more than one person likes candles, maybe I make 5 or 6 candles and then give them 3. Because some of these crafts are easier to do in bulk compared to other crafts. For me, crocheting and knitting takes me a pretty long time. So I only really schedule like a max of 3 knitting or crocheting gifts in a season because they're a big time investment for me. Whereas I'm much quicker at embroidery, I'm very quick at wood burning, I'm very quick at sewing. Now that you've got your brainstorm ready, now you just go through and you decide which thing am I going to focus on per person. So let's say, for the friend 1, we're going to do a craft kit because they're super crafty. Friend 2, let's do an artwork related to their hobby. On this friend group, we're going to do some matching apparel. And then this group, we're going to do a piece of art of their family. So the reason why I've done it this way is this kit we buy, these 2 we make, but for me, artwork, it's not a huge time investment. And I say that with a giant asterisk, right? If you are not very artsy, or if you aren't inspired to make any art, it can take a long time. And then this matching apparel is probably something I would try and make it myself, whether that's scarves or hats or bow ties and hair bows or bandanas. If I ended up buying the things, I probably would personalize them to make them seem just a little bit more for my friends. But again, it's not a big deal if you don't have time for that. Don't feel guilty about it, okay? All right, so now onto the family side. I'm thinking for Dad, let's do the funny thing, because my dad has a sense of humor. And for Mom, let's do a memory collage. Sibling, we'll do a personalized apron. The in-laws, my in-laws love candles, and candles are so much fun to make. And then brother-in-law and sister-in-law, let's do, since we're doing a cutting board, we can do another cutting board, but this time we'll just do a really nice, we could do measurements, a measurement conversion burnt onto the cutting board. That's really fun to make. All right, so that kind of gives us a list here of what we need to make, and we can put a little asterisk by the things that I think will take a long time. So we'll do this one, and then we'll do the personalized this one, and then honestly everything else on this list is a pretty low time investment. So to me, the things that take the longest are the things you need to do in November. Everything else, I probably could figure out how to get it done, or at least get the idea to them without finishing, and it'd be okay, right? So from there, you just need to think about what the craft is, and then break it down into what things you need to buy in order to do it. Buy those now and have them delivered while you're working on your other things, and just really kind of make it your hobby for the next month or 2. If that's really what you get enjoyment out of, that's a great use of your time. But otherwise, it's just, if you don't have time to do something like this, that is totally normal. That is totally okay. Some years I don't buy gifts. Some years I don't even make gifts. Some years I just make a Christmas card for all my friends and family, and I send them a card. And that's all that I had the investment for at the time. And that's fine, right? It's just, a season of life. Sometimes we get too busy. Sometimes we don't have enough energy to really make everything perfect. And that's okay. All right. I just want everyone to remember that while you may not be perfect, you are perfectly okay. And your friends and family want you to be happy. So another great idea is maybe you tell your friends and family that, hey, this year work's crazy, or, keeping up with my kids, I'm losing my mind. Can we please just not do gifts and instead plan like Christmas cookie and movie night and just have a great experience together? I'm sure most of your friends and family would love to spend time with you. And I think that's really what the season's about. So this has been an intro to how Auntie Sarah plans for the holiday. And again, I really think it's just thinking about your friends, your family, what their hobbies are, what their interests are, and trying to get something that's related to that. And nothing needs to be big, nothing needs to be beautiful and perfect. Things just need to be personal and thoughtful, right? So let me know in the comments below if any of these ideas or tips helped, or if you have any additional suggestions for things that you keep in mind through the holidays. I'd love to hear it as well. Keep an eye out on the social media for the tips and tricks that we'll be going through January, actually. So every Wednesday, we'll come up with another topic to talk about and keep in mind as we go through this wonderful holiday season. So I really appreciate you tuning in, and I hope that you have a great holiday season, and I hope that if you choose to craft something or buy something for friends, that you have a lot of fun while you do it. And if you don't, I hope that you schedule some time to just spend with your friends and family, because I think that's probably the best gift you could give anybody. Just a hint there. All right. Well, I look forward to crafting with you next time, and I hope you have a great holiday season. Okay, bye-bye.